This conference will now be recorded.
Yeah. So I want to start with this slide. So what is Python? Uh, Python is an interpreted high-level general purpose programming language. All right. So I know some of the words might be tricky for you, but again, as we progress, as we move on, you will get to know everything. So don't worry if you don't know about all these things right now. All right. So Python is an interpreted high-level general purpose programming language. All right. So this is a standard Wikipedia definition of Python. So in order to understand this definition, there are three keywords which are in the bold text. So which are interpreted, high level, and general purpose. You need to understand these three keywords now. All right. So coming to the interpreted programming language, uh, if you compare Python with other languages like C, Java, so what happens in C and Java is like after writing the script or program, you need to compile it. All right, this is the process. This is the cycle of process. What's going to happen in other languages? All right. So after writing the program, you have to save it, and then after saving it, you need to compile it. There will be some command. Uh, see some certain command you need to do that, you need to execute that, and then you need to run the program in order to see the output. So in total there are four steps. The first step is write the program, second step is save the program, third step is compile the program, and the last step is just run the program to see the output. Total four steps. So coming to the Python, you have to write the program and you have to run the program. That's it, only two steps. So in between saving the program, uh, compiling the program, that's not the headache of the programmer. So Python software itself will take care of it internally. All right. So that's the main difference between other languages like C, Java versus Python. Whereas in other languages, we have four steps. Like you need to write the program first, and then you need to compile it, you need to save it, you need to run it to see the output. But coming to Python, only two steps. Just write the program and run the program to see the output. That's it. So internally, saving the program, compiling, all these steps will be taken care by the Python itself in the background. All right. So these future, we basically call it as interpreted programming language. All right. So moving on, next keyword is high level programming language. So what do you mean by high level programming language? So all the low level activities, all right, all the low level activities. What do you mean by low level activities again? So like memory management. So you're writing certain code, it's going to generate a lot of files and all. So how you're going to handle all these files? All right. So all the low level activities like memory management, security related issues will again, it will be internally take care by the Python software itself. It's again not the headache of the programmer. All right. So this future, we basically call it as high level programming language. So in fact, C, Java, C++, Python, all these are high level programming languages only. So Python also comes under this category only. All right. So basically there are three levels. So one is low level, one is medium level, and the last one is high level. So at least in this 20th century, most of the programming languages are under high level programming language only. All right. So what do you mean by it? Simple. All the low level activities like memory management, security related issues will be internally taken care by Python itself. So this feature we call as high level programming language. So coming to the last keyword, general purpose programming language. So in the name itself, it's very clear, general purpose. So you can use Python in various domains. It's a general purpose programming language. So if you learn Python, you can apply that knowledge in other fields also, like in machine learning, deep learning, which are basically part of data science and web development, DevOps. So you can use your knowledge in those fields. Not only these fields, so wherever you work, so nowadays scripting language is mandatory. Right? So back then it used to work. Like if you don't have any scripting knowledge, also it used to work. It's not a problem back then, but now people are expecting at least one scripting language. Right? As an employer, if you want to get a job, decent job, it's mandatory to have a scripting knowledge. That adds a good weight to your resume. So anyway, it's not about getting a job and all. To survive in the job also, you need to have this skill. All right. So again, back to the concept. It's a general purpose programming language. As I said, you can use it in various fields. All right. So these three are the keywords, important keywords in the definition: interpreted, high level, and general purpose. All right. So let's move on. We'll also revise, or if you have any queries, you can ask me at the end of the session. So moving on, Python was developed by Guido von Rossum in the year 1991. All right. So he is known as the father of Python programming language. He is a person who developed Python programming language. So Guido von Rossum in the year 1991. So currently he works at Google. He's from Netherlands. So just to know you, I mean, I included this. So moving on. So coming to this slide tells us about the top programming language currently used worldwide. Okay, the percentage of the users in different programming languages. And if you observe properly, Python with almost 31.2 percentage of users. Right? So there are out of 100%, there are almost 31% of people using Python day to day. Then followed by Java with almost 19.6 percentage, C++ with 9.8 percentage, Ruby, all this, C Sharp 7.4 percentage. So these all are the programming languages used by various individual and the percentage. So again, Python is clearly leading over here, and this is because of many reasons. So why Python is becoming popular nowadays and why the users for Python is increasing day by day, all these things also we'll see in upcoming slides. All right. So moving on, we'll also see companies using Python. What are some of the popular organizations using Python? So in that list, we have Google, Facebook, Instagram, Spotify, Quora, Netflix, Dropbox, Reddit. So these are some of the popular organizations. Not only them, apart from them, we have other organizations like you can see in this slide. Like for example, Google. Yeah, we have already covered it. So AT&T, you can see here AT&T, which is a telecommunication network organization. eBay, which is an e-commerce website, Salesforce, Mozilla Firefox, all these companies use Python, right? So let's move on. And now we'll see futures of Python. Okay. So this is very important. If you're, especially if you're attending an interview as a fresher, you can expect this question. So what is the importance of Python? Why one should learn Python? What are the futures? What makes it different from other languages? You should know it. Okay. So coming to the first future, a language for the beginner. All right. So if you're starting your programming journey, I mean, if you're completely new to the scripting world and Python is your first scripting language, then it's the language for you. You can start with Python. So why? What's the reason? That brings me to the second feature: simple language and easy to learn. So why it's a language for beginner? Why? What's the reason? Because it is very simple language and easy to learn. So if you have any idea about C, Java, if you observe the syntaxes of them, I mean, anywhere if you see the script of them, like there will be curly braces, some lengthy syntaxes. But in Python, very simple. It's just like a normal English sentence. All right. So it's very simple when compared with other languages. At the same time, it is very efficient also. You can do lot many things. So again, we'll discuss all those things in upcoming slides as well. So these are my first two futures, pretty simple. So moving on, coming to the third future, a cross-platform language. So what do you mean by a cross-platform language? So very simple. It's nothing but you can use Python software in Windows operating system, Linux operating system, Mac OS, all these operating systems you can use Python without any issue. It runs really smoothly. So this particular feature we basically call it as a cross-platform language. Okay, you can use Windows, you can use in Linux, you can use it Mac OS, every operating system without any issue. So that's our third feature. And moving on, coming to our fourth feature, integrated programming language. Sorry, interpreted programming language. So this is something which we have already seen in our first slide, which means no compiler is needed. All right, as a programmer, it's not your job to save the program manually and compile the program manually. It's not your job. Python will internally take care about it. So compilation, saving the program, that will be internally taken care by Python itself. All right. So coming to the next feature, object oriented. So Python is an object oriented programming language also. What do you mean by object oriented? So you might heard about OOPS concept. So OOPS is nothing but a very popular term in programming world, especially very popular. So you will see that in C++, Java, in all these languages, you will see OOPS concept. Also in Python, object oriented programming language. It's a way basically. So that's also we're going to cover as part of our syllabus. We are going to see, we are also going to learn OOPS concept also. All right. So not only object oriented, Python is functional oriented also. All right. And moving on, open source and free. The sixth feature here is Python is open source and it's a free language. No licensed version and all those not required. It's completely free. All right. So what do you mean by open source? Open source, in simple words, anyone can contribute. All right. For the development of that particular application, everyone can contribute to that. So that is what meant by open source. All right. So moving on, the last feature, extensive libraries. So what do you mean by extensive libraries? So Python has lot many libraries support. Okay. So what do you mean by library? So in simple words, if I want to put it in a simple words, uh, library is nothing but it's a code written by someone. Okay, it's a lengthy code, some sort of lengthy code, and it is written for some purpose to achieve something. And if you want to use that code, you can convert that into a library and you can import into your script and you can use it. So that convenience is, can be done with the help of library. All right. So such libraries, we have lot many in Python, thousands of libraries, and this is one of the biggest reason why people are shifting from other languages to Python, because availability of lot many libraries support. Fine. So some examples: NumPy, Pandas, Seaborn, Matplotlib. So these are all some of the examples for libraries. So Beautiful Soup, all this. Anyway, we are also going to talk more on libraries in our syllabus also, in our course also. All right. So these seven are the most important features of Python. All right. Yeah. So we'll move on and now we'll see some of the Python applications. All right. So coming to the Python applications, it can be used in web development, desktop application. You can even develop a desktop application or a mobile application. So it is used in software development, education purpose, database access, network programming. So you can even develop a game also using Python. So for that, there is a special library called Pygame. It's called as Pygame. Uh, it is very useful in developing any of the game. All right, and DevOps, 3D graphics. So these are all some of the applications. Fine. So moving on, coming to the job opportunities. So learning Python, you can get into various fields. Okay, what are the various job opportunities available in the market? So knowing this is also important. All right. So firstly, if you're really good at Python, you can become a Python developer. So that's the dream job of every developer. So Python developer, that's the first thing. So if not, you can also go for other fields like Django framework. Like you can be a web developer. You can enter into testing. So Selenium is one such framework you can learn after Python. And then web scraping. Web scraping is, in simple words, it's something like if you want to scrap some data. I mean, there is some web page, let's say Naukri. So from that Naukri, if you want to extract some employee's information like his name, his age, his experience, all the details, if you want to extract into your local system, that you can easily do with the help of web scraping. All right. So I'm talking about millions of data here. So that can be easily done with the help of web scraping, which is again built on top of Python language. So data analytics. So you can also be a data analyst, like what's going on in organization data. You can also go in, enter into that field. And then computer graphics, machine learning, which is again one of the pillar of the data science. So data science is also very popular term nowadays. So it's an emerging technology. It has a lot of demand, especially. So Python really plays an important role in data science too. So big data, you might heard about Hadoop and all. So IoT, right? So DevOps is also very important. So Python is very widely used in DevOps also. Fine. So these are all various job opportunities you can enter into after learning Python. Fine. So just to know information, good to know information. All right. So moving on, the first part of the session is done. We have seen what is Python. Like, let me quickly revise what we have done just quickly. So we basically started with this slide and we have seen what is Python, and we understood the three keywords here, what exactly each and every keyword is meant. All right. And then we have seen this slide, Guido von Rossum, the father of Python language. And then this slide tells which programming language and what's the percentage of users around the world. All right. And some of the popular organization where Python is used, we have also seen this. And futures of Python, very important, especially as a fresher, it's very important for you. And Python applications, good to know information. Job opportunities, yes, these also we have covered just now. All right. So that's phase one, part one. Now coming to the Python course content. Now we'll see what are we going to learn, what's the syllabus, and what's the procedure. Uh, what's the procedure we generally are going to follow. All right. So initially, I'm going to start with these basic classes. So total there will be 6 days. 6 days. Each and every day I'm going to talk about one of the basic Python concept. All right. So if you learn these basics of Python, entering into the actual course content, it will become very easy for you to understand things. All right. So just to make things easy for you, yeah. Can you mute yourself? Sorry. Yeah. All right. So coming back to this, 6 days, the basic classes. All right. So day one will be on how to install Python software, It's a very simple thing, just 2 to 3 minutes of your time, and then we'll talk about Jupyter Notebook. It's a editor which we are going to use. It's a notebook, or it's a platform where we are going to code. That we are going to discuss. On that also we're going to see, and then we'll going to discuss some of the concepts like Python variables, Python data types. All these things we are going to see in day one, which is going to be from tomorrow. All right. And coming to day two, we're going to talk about strings, Python operators, indexing and slicing. All these things we're going to see in day two. Day three, we're going to talk about control flow. So you might heard about if block, else, and for loop, while loop. So this all things comes under control flow only. So that we'll talk, I mean, in that day three session. And day four, we'll talk about collections, one of the most important topic in Python, list, tuples, dictionaries, sets. So this comes under collection. We'll also going to talk about them. Then day five, functions, Python function. I said in future slide, Python is also functional oriented. All right. So functions also we're going to discuss. And day six, we're going to talk about some of the Python libraries. Only the basics. We're not going to go in depth at all. All right. So the reason why this 6 days class is important is we're going to cover all the basics, and when we enter into the actual course, things are going to be very simple for you. All right. So this is going to be the initial plan, learning Python programming basics starting from tomorrow. All right. And coming to the actual course, these are all the course content. Right. So Python strings and pattern programs, collections, regular expressions. So if you're already in industry, you must have known the importance of regular expression. If you're freshers, don't worry. But if you're experienced guy who is already working in some organization, you must know the importance of regular expressions. Very important. So functions, Python modules and packages, errors and exception handling. So you also know, must know like what are the different types of errors, why you're going to get errors in Python, how to solve them. That also we're going to cover. Then OOPS concept, very popular. So Python files, Python logging, generator, decorators. So some of the advanced libraries like data analyst libraries like NumPy, Pandas, visualization libraries like Matplotlib, Seaborn. So all these things we are going to cover in the actual course. All right. So this is going to be our phase two. Phase one is going to be the Python basics, which is going to be for 6 days, and phase two is going to be all these concepts, the remaining days. All right. And one last thing I want to talk about is every day, whatever the notes I'm going to write will be shared. Okay. Also, the recorded classes will be also shared on daily basis. So, for example, if you're missing one of the day's class, no need to worry. All the classes are going to be recorded and will be shared to your drive. All right. So let me also show you how it's going to be. So this is the drive. So for example, there is one class over here. Let's go to OOPS concept. So there are totally 14 sections over here. This is one of my batch, my oldest batch. And if I go to any one of it, for example, let's go to OOPS concept and let me open the first class on OOPS concept, the first folder. And in this first folder, in this particular day, you can see there will be a recorded video. At first, it will be uploaded, the recorded video, and some useful information, the snapshots which I feel important, I'm going to share it. And then the notes in HTML, which is supportable for your mobile phone also. You can open this in your mobile phone also. And then IPYNB, it is portable for the laptop or systems. All right. So basically these two files are nothing but the notes written by me in the actual class and some screenshots of the class. All right. Like this. So I'm going to play one of the video for you just to know how it's going to be. It's going to take some time to load up. So in this way, we're going to record all the sessions, whatever the day class is happening, we're going to record and we're going to share with you. So that's pretty common, and just to know, just letting you, that's going to be the plan of action. So I guess that's it for the day. So now if you have any queries, just let me know. I'm gonna stop the recording.